Down south in North Carolina, the J-50 has been pulled out of the turntable pit and wanders off like nothing has happened. The Ivet mogul returns from her northbound run with a handful of wagons. The Ivet either doesn't see the chaos unfolding or is just completely unfazed by it at this point. With the chaos tamped down for the moment, the yard goat takes the crane back to its siding. The L1, feeling better and no longer trapped in the Roundhouse, pulls out to take the regular local passenger service to Ye Olde Fortress. As the L1 rolls out of the service area, ferry battle rockets in. Ferry battle's driver has to adjust his position slightly on the turntable. Battle is fully stopped in the Roundhouse for a nice rest. The Ivet mogul is heading for the Roundhouse. The Ivet mogul is exiting the yard because the J-50 is on her tail with a wagon of bricks. The L1 couples to the train and awaits the right away. Chadson comes to a stop near the station and begins to tell the L1 what a wonderful thing freedom of speech is. The L1 tells Chadson it's not healthy to base one's entire personality on a country. Chadson doesn't like that freedom of speech. The J-50 has found some lumber to go with his bricks. The guard gives the L1 the right of way, and the L1 departs the station. Chadson keeps an eye on the L1 from the interchange. The K4 comes back into town, rather downtrodden as he does not know where his son went. Flying Scotsman returns to the yard, having finally gotten out of the mess that resulted from his trying to hold up the Amtrak train. The K4 sees his son ahead and calls out to him. Scotsman bolts up the mountain. The K4 is happy to play another round of tag, but wishes his son would pick another game. Either way, the K4 won't let his son get away this time. The BR Standard 4MT 10-wheeler arrives in town with a passenger train that was supposed to be Scotsman's before he went gallivanting off with the Amtrak train. The 4MT was happy to fill in, however. You can always count on a BR Standard, unless its name is Britannia. The Standard 4 hands the passenger train over to Gadwall and makes his way towards the Roundhouse. The Standard 4 spots the special water wagons by the switch tower and recognizes that they probably shouldn't be there. He grabs them and takes them back to the Roundhouse for safekeeping. Chadson keeps an eye on the L1 from the Majolica sawmill. At Statesville, Sheriff Panko and his trusty Dash 8 wait in the siding for a red signal. The L1 clears the block, but the signal remains red. The sheriff is annoyed, but lights and sirens don't help much in a train tunnel. Chadson is still keeping an eye on the L1. Scotsman and the K4 come flying through town. The sheriff considers citing them for tailgating, but he's got bigger fish to fry at the moment. Scotsman comes to a stop at the Clinchfield interchange, and the K4 stops next to him. Scotsman asks the K4 why he keeps claiming to be Scott's father. The K4 says that Sir Nigel Gresley, the man who designed Scotsman, visited the Pennsylvania Railroad before Scotsman was built and saw the K4 Pacific locomotives, which inspired him to build Scotsman's class, the A1 Pacific locomotives. Scotsman really doesn't know how to handle this situation. Sheriff Panko and the Dash 8 arrive in the yard and head to the switch tower, where there's a fresh report of moonshine. Nothing is immediately visible, so the sheriff decides to investigate. The Dash 8 moves off to do some investigating of his own. The J50 has built his own engine shed. Unfortunately, he picked a less than convenient location. A freight train from Old Fort enters the yard. The Ginty comes around the corner and wonders why there's a pile of rubble on the yard leads. Back to square one for the J50. While all that was going on, the 5600 has sneaked onto the turntable and is spinning away. The Ginty is waiting to enter the Roundhouse, and sees the big boy slowly approaching on the same lead. The Ginty asks the 5600 to clear the table so she can use it. The 5600 keeps spinning. The big boy is still coming. The Ginty asks the 5600 even louder to get off the turntable. The big boy is getting uncomfortably close. The Ginty yells for the 5600 to clear the turntable for the love of Winston Churchill's toupee. The 5600 was already getting off the turntable. As soon as the turntable is lined for the Ginty, she shoots across it and into the Roundhouse. The big boy stops at the sand tower, tops off his sand domes, and leaves. Sheriff Panko continues looking for signs of moonshine, only to make a very different discovery. Sheriff Panko is not impressed with the Dash 8. He places the Dash 8 under arrest for driving under the influence and open container. The sheriff orders the Dash 8 to couple onto him and proceed to jail. The sheriff informs the Dash 8 that this is not the way to jail.